Hi everyone, this is just a video on this particular option, which is creating an online course, and we're doing this for Scholarly Practicum. So in case you're wondering, I'm making this video on a screen capture program. I'll show you a few different ways to make these type of videos. And what I'm going to do is, if I can find my little button, I'm going to switch to my screen and show you the syllabus. Now I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I just want to make you aware of some things that we'll be doing in this class. And I put these in the student learning outcomes, and you'll be creating these for your own class. So the idea behind these is that you have your class all planned out, and you know what you want students to learn. So we'll be creating a syllabus, which we've already done, and you'll be fulfilling the standards listed below, and I'll go through those in just a minute. You're going to be making 3 weeks worth of lectures, and these are however you want to do that. They only need to be about 5 minutes long. Now, in reality, when you make a lecture, taped lecture for an online class, these will probably be between 15 minutes. Try not to make it no longer than 20. And then you'll be learning how to make an alignment chart showing your course objectives and your weekly student learning objectives, and then how they're related to your assignments. And then I'll make these little introductory videos on how to do all of this. So for example, next week is week 3. At the end of the week, you will be able to, and these are the weekly learning outcomes, search for relevant syllabi, use them, examine and discuss the relevant quality matter standards, and then examine and discuss Bloom's taxonomy. And the way you'll do that is you'll be searching for the syllabi, and I have a discussion board for you to talk about the quality matters standards and Bloom's taxonomy. So for this week, I want you to make sure you go through the quality matter rubric to see if all of it makes sense. And I'll show you that in just a second. And these are the standards that I want you to complete. So there are 8 sections of standards, and then there's subsections. So I've just listed some of them, but I want to make sure you go through all of them, because when you create your actual course, when you get a job, you'll have to fulfill all of these, or that's the best way to do it. Then I want you to find 5 to 10 syllabi on your course topic. And what you need to do for that is just do a Google search, whatever search engine you're using, for say US History 2 university semester, or something like that for your search words. That'll bring up a whole bunch of syllabi. Save 5 or 10 of them, and then I want you to go through and look at how they're taught. What you'll find is many of these courses, like US History 1 and 2, World History 1 and 2, are taught almost the same. So the sections are the same and so on. And partly that's because community colleges have things that they want you to teach. And so you'll have to follow the same thing. And I'm going to highly suggest that you pick either US History 1 and 2 or World History 1 or 2. I mean US History 1 or 2. Because those are all taught at community colleges, and you have a better chance of getting a teaching job if you're teaching one of those. So look at the syllabi, look how they break down their weekly subject matter, and especially on the books they use. And if they have any learning outcomes, some will have them, they all should have them, but some won't. And then what I want you to do is build up your own 15-week syllabus with these topics. So you don't have to do too much more than that in terms of these weekly topics. So say if you're doing US History 2, you might start off with week 1, the Civil War, or something like that. I also want you to start thinking about your course learning outcomes and your weekly learning outcomes. And what I've done here is I've given you a link to Bloom's taxonomy. And let me see if this actually works within this, and it does. Let me just take you to the site. There's tons of sites on Bloom's taxonomy. And what this is really a way to think about how your students learn and what you want them to do. So at the very bottom here, you can see remember. So that's a basic skill. And so what remembering is recalling facts and basic concepts. And then these are the Bloom's words. So define. Now remember, I talked about student learning outcomes. Like at the end of this week, you will be able to, one word you can use is define Civil War. Duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, state. And then understand, not the best word to be using. You don't want to say, you will understand something because that's hard to assess, but if you look over to the side, it's explaining ideas. So you can use classify, describe, and so on. And it goes all the way up to create. So, and sometimes people think of this as, an easy lower level course should have more of these remember, understand, and apply words. And that's sort of true, but you want to press your students a little. And I always go up to create. So design something, assemble something, conjecture, develop, and so on. So these words you're going to start looking at for creating both your course learning outcomes and your weekly learning outcomes. You'll have to create both. Now let me go back to the syllabus. So anyway, you can be looking at Bloom's taxonomy, start looking at those. I also set up for the 4 of you the Blackboard Shell. You have access to that. What I might do in a short video is show you how to add folders, how to move around within Blackboard Shell if you haven't seen that. And what I also want you to do is to convert your course to Blackboard Ultra. So what happens is when you log into Blackboard, your Blackboard course shell, it's going to be in the Classic, and I want you to upgrade to Ultra. And there's a little button at the top right for you to do that. And then I'll show you how to add some folders and videos and so on. And I want you to play around with that this week. And then in the discussion board that you can find on Blackboard, I want you to, if you have any issues or questions or things you want to chat about, either about the Quality Matter standards or Bloom's taxonomy, we can do that. Now I will show you Quality Matter standards here in just a second, and I'm not going to go through every week, but the week 4, next week, you're going to be creating an alignment map. And I've already popped up a video on what an alignment map is. And so you'll be thinking about your course learning outcomes and then your weekly learning outcomes. And you'll do this within your alignment map. And then week 5, again, I'm not going to go through all these. You'll create a self-introductory video. This fulfills standards 1.1, 1.2, 1.8, and 1.9. Create your introductory video, and then I want you to start collecting materials for your first lecture, and so on. That's how the class will be set up, or that's how the class is set up. Now let me take you to the Quality Matters rubric. So I got a copy of this from our online university, and I mentioned do not print this anywhere. Don't put it up on a website. Don't share it with anybody outside of the university. Quality Matters is pretty ruthless in terms of protecting their copyrighted material. So it's yours to use, but just keep it to yourself. So this rubric is used to evaluate online courses, but it can also be used to help design courses. So here's General Standard 1, Course Overview and Introduction. The overall design of the course is made clear to the learner at the beginning of the course, and then there's an overview statement, what it's all about. And then you've got the specific standards. So you've got 1.1, and I believe it goes down to 1.8. Wrong here. I'll go back here in just a second. Yes, 1.9. Okay, let's go back up to 1.1. Let me see if I can find my page up. Okay, so 1.1, instructions make clear on how to get started. So this is the first one. Now these points here, that's something, I'm a peer reviewer and a master reviewer for Quality Matters, so we use those points to evaluate a course. You don't need to worry about that. Annotation tells you what to look for and how to do it. So if you're evaluating a course, you want to find information at the beginning that provides a general overview, talks like essentially what I'm doing right now, guides the learner. Now, what they make recommendations on how to do this, like in your first weekly folder, maybe title it Start Here, like week 1, Start Here, and so on. And then here's some examples. Clear statements about how to get started, a course tour, which is what I'm giving you now, a scavenger hunt. I always do a syllabus quiz in my class, something to illustrate what it looks like. And blended courses are really hybrid. You don't have to worry about that right now. And then so on. So this is a fairly long rubric, but I think it's really excellent to use in terms of designing your courses. So you'll be going through most of that this semester, because you can see here, these are the standards I want you to fulfill within your course. And then as you go through them, you can certainly mark on the PDF which one I want you to concentrate on. So that is essentially our course for designing an online course. And what I might also do is include a few articles every once in a while on online course pedagogy, or how like the theory that sits behind teaching online, because it's very different than teaching in course as well, or in a classroom, as we'll see. So don't hesitate to send me any questions, and let's get started.